What is up, everyone? It is episode 10 of the Main Stand podcast. The first episode, we are all in Maine. Your boy's back in Maine from Minnesota. I have my co-hosts with me, Mitch and Pat. How are you guys doing this week?
What do,
baby? We're doing all right. We're living. We're getting through it.
It's been a great week. A lot of footy. We got some Champions League cover. A huge week in the Premier League. So got a ton of stuff to cover today, honestly, guys. We'll get right into it.
Yeah. I think the first thing to hop right into housekeeping with here is fan therapy works. Tottenham won their game. Newcastle, holy shit. Minnesota United, the other United, back in the winning form too. So how crazy is that? It's like you complain about your team, and on our podcast, you speak your anger into existence, and then your team start winning games.
Yeah, so basically, if your team sucks and you want to be a guest, hit us up in the DMs, and we'll get your team back on winning form.
Well, at least get you one win. You'll get one win.
You'll get one win on the bounce, yeah.
Airing your grievances is proven to work.
I don't care about Tottenham's loss tonight in the Conference League. They did win against Newcastle after Farwell did the pod. We will get you the direct win after. If it's a big cup match, Champions League match, you need to win, hit your boys up.
Yep, just get on here and start complaining about your team right before you have a big game.
Needs to be done.
Yes, sir. And the big thing here, yes, Minnesota United, my club. Winning 2 on the bounce, Austin and Philly. They're up to 6th place in the Western Conference of the MLS. Looks like we're going to playoffs. We'd love to see that. An update from last week to keep me accountable. We're going to keep track of my bets over time and see how successful they actually are. We went 4 for 8 last week, boys. Got the Liverpool game right. I took Liverpool minus 1.5. Leicester Man United over 3.5. That one had 7 goals or 6 goals?
6. It had 6. Yeah, it was 4-2.
Leverkusen and Bayern, we took the over, and we took the Juventus money line. Juventus beat Roma 1-0. Those are the 4 we hit on. We have 7 picks today, so hopefully we do better, but we'll keep track of those every week and tell you guys how they do.
Yee.
How much money is Josh raking in this season?
Yeah. How much money did Josh Ricker make?
Or lose you?
Find out on the Main Stand. You guys are going to hop right into this weekend's reviews. There were some tasty results. Do you guys want to talk about Liverpool fucking murdering Watford?
Yeah. That was fun. Salah does it again, man. He is on absolute fire, dumping 5 guys to slot in another fantastic goal. Obviously Bobby with a nice hat trick in the right place at the right time. Those are 5 well-worked goals. Very well-worked goals. Liverpool is firing on all cylinders right now, even against a side like Watford. Obviously it's a game we expect to go out and take the 3 points, but like that, it's really refreshing to see. The boys are buzzing.
Yes, sir. And I think what impressed me most about Mo Salah, besides the goal, was that hell of a pass he played into Mane for the first one. Outside of the boot, kind of reminds me of that one he had, I think it was against West Ham last year. Just rolls it into Mane on the outside of his boot, hits him in stride. I mean, not many people in the world are making that pass, and we're lucky enough to have a guy who does that nearly every week. And the goal's sensational. He's simply the best player in the world right now on current form, and just undeniable. It's a great match. Liverpool definitely looks like they're on the up. I thought Trent played well too. All around good performance, and one that I was kind of a little bit worried about, if I'm going to be honest, because Ranieri's coming in, new manager, inspired Watford team. You think they might give you a bogey or a hard result, but Liverpool just walloped them at Vicarage Road.
And that's where I was at last week too. I brought that up. It's one of those games where you expect to win. It's a 3 points in your mind, but it's one of those games where if you go out and you just come out flat, or you let your foot off the gas for a minute, they'll make you pay, and I'm really glad they kept the foot on the pedal all 90 minutes. I mean, just a brilliant performance through and through, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it flooded. I guess we'll talk about it right now, just because we're kind of doing a Liverpool Man City update, just because these are the two clubs we talked the most about. Really, it kind of flooded right into the Atletico match here this week. Liverpool won that one 3-2. 2 goals from Salah, again a brilliant goal. It did take a huge deflection, but the work to get by 3 Atletico Madrid defenders was phenomenal. Kite hit the rocket, and the resiliency of that team to battle back and fight against Simeone's team's antics, and how they kind of play it, especially at home at the Wanda. So to come out and get that 3 points, and you start off the Champions League group with 9, can't ask for better. It's great to see going into a big match against Man U.
Yeah, I thought you guys were really good. Personally.
I didn't get to watch the Champions League game, but just going back and looking at the highlights and the results, it's just a massive 3 points. It really does solidify our spot in the next round. It opens up, that fight for second and third, gives us a really comfortable spot in the group stage, and it feels really good to go out on the road and do that, especially where Atletico kind of gave it to us last year. The resiliency there, it's a well worked 3 points there in that game as well.
First time they've lost at home, I believe, in 4 years in Europe, and also first time Simeone's given up 3 goals in Europe in his tenure at Madrid. So can't complain about that.
Statement win.
Yes, sir. Pat, give us an update on Man City. What have you guys been up to in the past week in the Premier League and Champions League?
Man City did not kill Burnley like I thought they were going to. Just a nice convincing 2-0. Just looked very good all around the pitch. It literally just felt like a 90-minute training exercise. The result was never in doubt. I was a little afraid that Cornet was going to snag one just because, scored on us in the Champions League loss to them in Lyon a couple of years ago. So seeing a side that I hate as much as Burnley sign a player that haunts me is a little terrifying as a fan of the club. But just a convincing win against them at home. Wasn't really anything too special. Not much too much to talk about, aside from the fact that João Cancelo is the best fullback in Europe right now, without a doubt. I don't think that there is any debates if we're looking at current form and what a skill set of a player is. João Cancelo is the best. And then we go to the Champions League, and we fucking murdered Bruges. Mitchell saying that they might give us a tough time, and then we rocked up to Belgium and put 5 by them. Listen
here. Miggs was just having his off day, man. Probably didn't have his Ribena that Millie sent over to him because it's probably not available over there. It was a rough day. It was a rough day for Bruges, and it was okay. Tough. I mean, the better team won, honestly. Yes, we looked unbelievable. We look so comfortable in this false 9 system right now. So it's a lot of fun to see. It's a good time to be a City fan. Really cool highlight of the Bruges game was Cole Palmer coming on for his UCL debut and then scoring his first Champions League goal with his second touch. He's definitely one to watch for the future. I don't think he has a ceiling as high as Phil Foden, but I definitely think that within the next couple of years, he's going to make himself a name and become a first-team regular. I think he's one of the more talented guys in the EDS team for us. So a name to watch this year for sure, too, is Cole Palmer. And also Kyle Walker scored his first UCL goal, which was hilarious. Wow. Keeper and scoring goals. Good for him.
He's the best player in the world, dude. He can do everything.
Josh, you think that that second touch goal is that gave me kind of like Sturridge vibes, like that instant impact off the bench, coming in, just banging in a goal, making an instant impact.
Especially out of a young player coming on, making an immediate impact. That's all you can ask. Also,
it helps that Bruges are dog shit.
Yeah.
Yes, they are, but Miggs is goated. No, undeniable.
We gotta, send a shout out, prayers up to the Man City fan too, who was attacked after the game by Bruges fans. So
absolutely.
Shout that out as well.
Yeah, you hate to see that, man. You really do.
If you're going to football games to hurt other people, you can fuck off.
That's facts.
You're not welcome.
And then, do you guys want to? We'll jump into the Prem and then we'll come back to the Champions League. I think probably the best way to do things. This game, I think, is actually the one to talk about. Probably the most not surprising result of the weekend, but maybe the most significant result of the weekend. Leicester over Man United, 4-2. Why? What is so? I get the Man United don't have a proper six, right? And Ole isn't the greatest tactician, but like, what is going on over there, man? Like, they're bad.
I don't know if a proper six solves the fact that they're only able to net, 1 or 2 goals a game. They are an offensive powerhouse with the weapons that they have. You look at the team sheet and you would expect them to go out and net at least 3 a game. You know what I mean?
Right.
And is it all just not being able to say the right thing at the right time? Is he making the wrong decision? Is he like, is it a training thing? Like, there's got to be something that we're missing in terms of what we're seeing that or hearing about that isn't, there's just, I don't get it. You have so many weapons. You have such a good side. And to go out and put out these consistent performances that are underwhelming, something has to change.
Well, there are definitely holes in that team too. And
I think there are, but it doesn't solve. I don't think the holes are the necessarily the biggest problems right now. I think the changes do need to come from the top. The changes do need to come from the front office and the coaching staff, because regardless of if you have holes or not, you have your team right now. There's no bringing anybody in to fix the problem. So you have your team sheet set, you have your first team, and you're consistently putting out these teams and making these changes on the fly that make no sense, that just make absolutely no sense, that are not benefiting United in their run here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the best move is. Is it a clean sweep? Do you bring in a new manager?
I think it's the coaching. I genuinely think that that's like the biggest problem that they have right now. Like, I don't think a good coach puts them like in the echelon of like title contender, because I think that I don't think that they're like a super deep side by any stretch of the imagination. Like I mentioned, they need a 6, and they don't have like a consistently strong center back pairing. I think Varane and Harry Maguire like isn't a bad pairing. I think that's probably their best pairing that they can field. But when Maguire has to be that guy, they struggle. He just is not a very good player, and he's fine defensively. He just has these like lapses, these just like poor decisions, a bad pass, like a weird defensive action. He just seems like he has an error in him. He always has an error in him. And I think that's ultimately like their biggest problem at the back. And then they're like so heavily reliant on Ronaldo to score goals right now. I genuinely think that his signing ended up being more of a detriment than an actual aid to the side. I think his personality and what he brings is certainly good from like a business aspect, but I think bringing him in overshadowed a lot of the problems that they had last season that didn't get like directly addressed, and now they're kind of starting to bubble back up to the surface. So, but I genuinely think a new coach turns this team around. It puts them in a much better position personally.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a leaking pipe. Like it's not going to solve the issue, but it's like, hey, I did something, And yeah. I mean, in terms of Maguire, like, yes, he redeemed himself midweek in the game against Atalanta, but he was the cause of the position they were in. There's a give and take, and when you're going to spend that much money on a center back that hasn't produced, he hasn't lived up to any sort of expectation for the money, that's a glaring red flag toward the front office and the decisions that they're making in terms of where they're spending their money. And
Yeah,
that's
but
where
he's English, though. I think it's tough to just be like, ooh, Harry Maguire costs so much money. Why does he stink? Well, he's English. Like, Ben White cost $50 million over the summer. He's not a $50 million player.
Nope.
Like, there's just like a premium tax on English players.
And I wish that wasn't a thing, because I mean, Harry Maguire, $50 million is a lot more respectable than the bag that he was given.
Yeah, also doesn't help that Man United is treating him like a true $80 million signing by giving him the captain's armband for a while last year, treating him like Man United royalty, when really he was, yes, he did score a goal against Atalanta, a good one, may I add, but he was the reason they got down, and he was also very poor against Leicester. A guy of that caliber, you got to look at him and ask questions. And the thing comes down to, Man United's recruitment. Ed Woodward, I know he's gone, but you got to look at why they made these decisions. When we bought Van Dijk, when City bought Diaz, you guys, you're buying the alpha, the guy that plays, in the left center of defense, where the strong attackers are coming down. That's just going to boss it and control the whole team from the back. Maguire's not that guy. I think a Koulibaly is that guy. Maybe some other lads across Europe. Maguire is not that guy. I think Maguire's the guy you put on the right next to him.
I think Varane can be that guy. If they get Varane a good partner, they're way better off at the back.
Yeah, it's just trusting Maguire to handle it himself. You can't do that.
No, that's the problem. He's a liability on his own. He looked all right in the 3, though, when United played a back 5 for a little while. But we can talk about that when we talk about Chelsea, because I have so many gripes with the back 5. Anyway, great segue into Brentford versus Chelsea. So Chelsea going into Brentford. 1-0. Chelsea beat Brentford.
Also, when AFCON happens, Chelsea are going to struggle without Mendy. Brentford would have won that game if Edouard Mendy was not in goal.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's a stretch to say that Mendy might be the best goalkeeper in the Prem.
Right now, on form, absolutely not.
On current form, yeah.
I think he's been the best goalkeeper in the Prem for the past, probably since he came into Chelsea and really solidified the starting spot. I think that everything that he brings to the table, I think Mendy's probably the best keeper in the Prem right now.
He's an absolute animal. And I don't think there's been a more crucial signing in the Premier League in the last 2 years. If you
Diaz to City, guys,
Diaz to City's
title.
That's a phenomenal signing. But if you look at what Chelsea needed in order to propel themselves back to that conversation of title contender, it was a keeper.
No, it was a manager. Let's just
a manager.
It was not Frank Lampard running that team.
But you can never win a game if you're letting in 4 goals every weekend.
That's very true. Very true.
Kepa is dog shit, and they backed him for way too long. So going out, getting Mendy at a very, very good price, he comes in, it's night and day what you see in the comfort of that back line. There's a lot more composure for those defenders because they trust who's on the goal line now.
Right.
And I think that speaks volumes to Chelsea's success right now.
So it's a shame that he has not been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. I know goalies are a different player, but I'm pretty sure Alisson was nominated, a couple years ago, and he had that really good season when we won the UCL. I have no idea how Mendy wasn't. I mean, he's just a boss, and he was immense in that Brentford game.
Mm-hmm. Stood on his head. He looked great.
I mean, I think this is a result we all kind of saw coming. I honestly thought Brentford was going to be able to steal the extra point here out of this, but Mendy just decided to do what he does every fucking weekend and stand on his head. He eats balls for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And before we get out of the Premier League here too, we also want to cover Steve Bruce, get first manager to be sacked in the Premier League this year. There's just so much conversation about who is good for this Newcastle side, who is the best manager out there now, who's willing to take this job, maybe leave their current position. What do you guys think of firing Steve Bruce? Does that make all the difference? Newcastle.
I think it's harsh on him.
I think it's harsh.
I think it's harsh on
I think
Steve
so,
Bruce, man. Like, I think he at least deserved a little bit of time. Like, all right, not a great coach. Let's just keep it a grip. He's a great, I'm not going to get you relegated guy. Not an amazing tactician. And I guess it's maybe a statement of intent saying, like, he's not getting the results that this new takeover, might be calling for, and, wanting to, like, really push this new Newcastle project and bring in a new coach, like, as early as possible if Steve Bruce isn't going to be that guy to, like, get these results on the back of this momentum of, like, this new money coming into the club in the summer. But I think at least give him the season, man. Like, I think it's really, really harsh to sack him after that game, and especially after losing to Tottenham. Like, it's not like they lost, like, to the fucking Norwich or something like that. Like, they lost to a good side. They didn't
give it to Tottenham for a while either.
Right.
They were right in that game. And, to fire him after 2 matches, really, like, since you're in charge, that just proves you were looking for their first bad result and you knew you were going to sack him anyway. And I feel bad that Steve Bruce came out and, he isn't a great manager, but he came out and said, it's been really hard on me and my family, like, to get called cabbage head and, like, tactically inept and all this stuff, like, year over year. It's just tough. He's like, I haven't really been supported, like, money-wise. Like, I'm doing what I can with what I have. And that's pretty sad to see. Like you guys said, I think it's a bit harsh.
It was for sure a decision that was made, I feel like, before the pen was put to paper when the financial takeover happened. They obviously have a direction that they want to go. And in order to do that, you need top tier talent across the board. And, Steve Bruce, he isn't that. He's not a Pep. He's not a Jose. He's not a Klopp. But what are they going to do right now? What are you going to solve by sacking Steve Bruce at this point in the season? Like, you're not going to go out and get your manager right now. Like, there isn't much to choose from unless you're giving him the bag. But, like, I don't know, like, let him play out the season, or at least a little bit closer to the winter transfer, unless they are targeting a big winter window. If they're trying to do something, go get your manager, get him situated, and figure out a plan of attack for December.
That's the devil's advocate route. You gotta think about, like, if you are going to bring a new manager and eventually you want him to be his signings, it kind of cuts that time out where you could make some bad signings and be like, oh, well, I didn't sign those guys. Cuts that out completely. So I guess that kind of leads into our next question is, who do you guys have as the favorites to sign as manager?
I think it'll probably be Graham Potter.
I am in the same boat there.
But are you really doing that? Brighton's in 4th place right now. They have 15 points after 8 games.
I think it depends on how Brighton finish. I think that's probably good context to add, is depending on how Brighton finish the season overall. But Graham Potter has an opportunity to do something with Newcastle very similar to when Mancini took over at City, had that big summer, and then won a title a year. Like, I think he's got, like, there is potential that he could see that in the project and, like, see himself as that guy to propel Newcastle. It's maybe on paper it looks like a very horizontal, or even like a slightly, like, downward diagonal directional move. I hope that makes sense to our listeners and viewers out there, how I'm trying to illustrate that. But I don't think that's totally the case. If he's performing this well with Brighton too, with the tools that Brighton are giving him, imagine if now he can go into a Newcastle that are like, here's a $150 million war chest this summer. What do you need to play that football here? Like, that's tempting. It's tempting to really want to prove that you can do it. And a club that can give him that amount of financial backing to build a side, it's a tempting offer. I could see him taking it.
I think the other ones to shout out are Lucien Favre and I just had the name in my head. Fonseca, the one who managed Roma last year. Supposedly took over.
I think Favre is a good shout too.
Yep. I think those are two kind of mid-level guys.
Do you think Southgate's in the conversation?
Go for an English guy.
You don't think they're going English?
No, I don't.
If they do go with an English manager, do you think Southgate's in that conversation?
No, simply because the World Cup is next year. I think Southgate's been a part of it long enough where he's like, no amount of money is going to like make me change this. Like, I want to take England to another World Cup, and like he has another shot to like really put himself in history forever. And I think he knows that. So I don't think any amount of money is really going to sway him. I know I mentioned his name last week, but after thinking about it a little bit more, it's like, what's the motive really?
Yeah, I think it's tough to see Southgate moving like that too, at least right now. Maybe if like Newcastle's first manager doesn't work out, maybe Southgate next. But right now, no, I think Southgate's definitely firmly with England until at least the end of the next World Cup.
And there are some chirps that he may be going to Palace. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I think if things do change, like we've talked about the England national team, if things do change within that side, I think he becomes the front runner at that point.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy thing to think either.
But like, obviously, I think where we are right now, there isn't going to be a change there. But I do think he has to be in that conversation, just with his level of coaching experience. There is definitely going to be eyes on him there if things do change in the near future before we think they do.
Yeah. I think we can move on now to some Champions League highlights, guys. So what an exciting week of Champions League football. And it started on Tuesday. PSG Leipzig 3-2. Mbappe scores 1. Messi scores 2. 2 fantastic goals, too. Panenka penalty. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, he is a player, man. That Messi guy, he's pretty good, isn't he?
Doesn't change anything for me. I still don't think PSG are going to win. I think it was a good win for them against Leipzig, in Paris, but it doesn't change much for me. It's like I expect them to get out of the group stage, get a few nice wins, but I still don't think they get very far.
I still think that they're losing to City when they come to England, and City are going to win the group. I'm still firmly in that belief. So.
Leipzig still did give PSG a pretty difficult time. With all things considered, Leipzig losing some big key pieces right before the Champions League starts, being able to put 2 in and really force a match out of PSG, I think speaks a lot to Leipzig's side and their willingness to really go out and get a result too.
Away from home too. In Paris, they forced that.
And an American coaching in Mbappe and Messi. Shout out to Jesse Marsh, future manager of the U.S. men's national team.
Please come now, Jesse. We need you.
Greg has got to go.
Yeah, we already covered Atletico Liverpool. Liverpool's top of that group. Surprisingly, AC Milan on 0 points. That isn't one I expected, especially after.
Nope, I don't think any of us did. But
yeah, especially with that. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, like the Champions League aura, like the clubs that really have it in Europe. I thought they would have turned up. I know they've had a few unlucky results, like against Madrid and Liverpool especially, but 0 points is a little bit tough.
That's rough. Another pretty surprising Champions League result was Ajax putting 4 past Dortmund.
Somebody figured them out.
Yeah. Ajax is such a tough one, isn't it? Because we don't see them every week, and we know they're an exciting side. They put a ton of goals in the Netherlands, but when they come to Europe, it's always like a coin flip.
They look good. They look good, man. Ten Hag has them playing fucking fearlessly. I think that they're a dark horse to knock a couple teams out in the next round. I definitely think they're getting out of the group, especially after that result. I wouldn't write them off. I think that whoever they play in the round of 16 needs to respect them, or they're going to lose to them.
I will say I do think this is a little bit of less of a testament to Ajax and more of a shame on Dortmund. Not to take anything away from Ajax, great win for them and stuff, but the Dortmund team never changes, does it, man? I mean, ever since Klopp, It's always like so close, and it's like this is their year. They start off the Bundesliga with a big win, or however it goes. It's the same thing, man.
They've just not looked great this year. They started pretty flat in the Bundesliga. They've picked it up a little bit, but they just don't look super good. I definitely don't think that they're keeping Haaland for another year. Mans is definitely fucking off this summer.
I don't know if they're going to keep Bellingham.
I could maybe see one more year.
At this rate, man, and with the Premier League market and how competitive it is right now in terms of there's 4 clubs at it, ready to win a title right now. How many teams are going to be at him this summer, giving him a bag?
Yeah, that's true. There are definitely teams that can use him as well, for sure.
And he's a homegrown talent. He fulfills one of those spots in your team. I mean, it's you get value out of that.
Yeah, it's almost a no-brainer for some of these sides that need the homegrown talent too. So I guess it'll be interesting to see. I'm not 100% sure I'm totally sold on him dipping out just yet. I think he might do one more year in Germany, but I guess we'll see. Next game, Man United 3, Atalanta 2. We chatted about this a little bit when we were talking Man United and getting piped by Leicester. Pretty fortunate result for them. Harry Maguire kind of bailing them out, scoring a goal, and then Ronaldo scoring a goal off the bench in the 80th minute. I don't know, man. Ronaldo scoring goals. Man United really like to make things interesting, but I'm just I'm still not particularly convinced by the side. I'm sad that Atalanta just are not doing what I thought they'd do in this group and getting any results.
No, they look a little bit off, and their offense isn't quite as. They scored 2 goals against Man United, so I can't really say too much, but their offense is definitely dulled a little bit. Zapata's playing well, but Ilicic and Ruiz, I think, behind him, they're not really kind of kicking it off like they have been in recent years.
Yeah,
they were the top scoring side in Serie A for 3 years in a row. I think they have the 6th most goals in Serie A so far this year. So they're not quite kicking it off. It's a lucky win for Man United. I mean, Ronaldo's inevitable. They knew it was coming. See it from a mile away. Atalanta kind of came in the second half, I think, a little bit with their head held too high.
Yeah, I definitely do think that Man United deserve praise for this game. Fighting back from a 2-goal deficit is never easy. So definitely, it's a pretty good show of mental strength to be able to battle back from something like that, especially in Europe too.
Ole's on a teeter-totter right now, right? So he loses a game against Leicester, almost loses. He is on the edge of the cliff right now, almost losing to Atalanta, especially in the Champions League where they're at, not a great position. You're starting to see one end go way down. And I think this Liverpool match, even though they won against Atalanta, this Liverpool match coming up this weekend, if they lose, I think he's done. I mean, in this Atalanta match, proves how do you set up your tactics that bad in the first half where you go down 2-0 against Atalanta? I get they have a great offense and whatever, but how do you not score a goal or show any heart or the tactics are just dead, and the starting lineup's dead. I just don't understand his thinking process, and I think it was on full display here. It's just one more, step in the wrong direction for him.
Yep, unfortunately. Well, I'm going to say unfortunately because I never want him to lose his job. I'm all in for life. Last game in the Champions League to chat about is just a quick little 1-0 down here. Juventus 1, Zenit 0. Juve turned it around, man. Or not turning it around, but Juve just basically being fuck the main stand. I heard what you guys said about us.
A few 1-0 wins against Chelsea, Zenit, and Roma. This one was late. I think they scored in the 86th minute.
Something like that, yeah. It came late on.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. Their defense is tight, man. They don't let in many goals. It's their offense, and they're scoring enough right now, which is all they really need to do. I'm kind of on the Juventus bandwagon a little bit right now. I think they're doing fine.
Well, I don't like them just personally, so it's more of a personal thing at this point for why I'm rooting against them.
Understandable.
You guys want to talk about the Europa League / Conference League, because there was actually a couple of hilarious games in that.
You mean the first Losers Champions League? Let's do it.
Well, first and second Losers Champions League.
First and second, yes.
Leicester scoring 4 in a 4-3 win over Spartak, Patson Daka scored 4 goals. That's sick. I love that shit.
Yeah, he scored the last goal against Man United, didn't he? That lad, man, I was kind of impressed by that signing, and I liked him a lot. There, he was linked with Liverpool for a while, like last year. What a player he is, and I think he's going to get some running games for Leicester as a result of this.
Absolutely, yeah, good result for Leicester too. Honestly, that's a good result for them.
They haven't started off the Prem, where they should be. They're kind of in the mid-table right now, so seeing some good performances in in Europe. Good for them.
Yeah, for real. I tend to root for English clubs in the Europa League for the most part. So I do like seeing Leicester win that game. Another big English win was West Ham beating Genk 3-0. That was a good one too.
Yeah, I have a little soft spot for West Ham lately. I don't know why. We need to get
They're fun, dude.
We need to get our friend Lucas on the pod from the Netherlands. I know they play Liverpool on November the 7th. Maybe we'll do a little preview with him.
Hell yeah.
Man, West Ham look good. Their defense is just – I feel like watching them, it's like I just trust their defense in midfield. Like, I don't feel like worrisome. They're just so solid. And then you have Antonio up top, and he's just clean as a whistle, man.
Well, you have to trust their defense in this game when they scored 2 out of the 3 goals. You have 2 defenders netting goals, and who scored the third? Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen scores the 3rd goal. So you're getting production when you have Antonio start as hot as he has, obviously cooled off a little bit, but they're still being able to produce on other parts of the pitch, and I think that's massive for them. It's a lot of fun to watch. West Ham isn't like one of the top 6 by any means. So it's a good secondary club to look at and say they're fun to watch. They are putting out a really good product, and they're working well together. It's just a really fun team to kind of like throw on and watch a really exciting game. And to be able to bang 3 past Genk is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some Conference League games too, and the Conference League is kind of panning out exactly like how we thought it would, which is managers not really playing their full strength team, and then inevitably getting upset by teams that have no reason to be challenging them in a game. The first one, Tottenham losing to Vitesse. I'm probably butchering that. 6th place in the Netherlands right now. And then to be fair,
Chelsea's lone club.
Yeah. Tottenham still started Dele Alli, the Gill kid on the right side, and Bergwijn on the left. So it's not like they were really resting everybody. They did play some youngsters, but wow. I mean, it's just Spurs in a nutshell.
And then Roma fucking dropping 6-1.
That is insane. Man,
I have both feet in my mouth from last week. I have both feet in my mouth. How is Moo gonna go out there and dump 6-1?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where this team is from.
Glimpse.
I don't know either, but they rotated. Mourinho, like I read some quotes from his press conference like two hours ago, just about. Anyway, and he was like. He put all of the blame on himself. He was like, yeah, I rotated. The 11 I started was nowhere near as good as the 11 that they started. Didn't really respect the opposition, and we got punished for it.
Yeah, and
Glimt is
Tammy and
Norwegian.
Pellegrini did come on, though.
Yeah, but one of their like regular players, and I think he came on to they were already like 4-1 down.
Yeah, that's tough, but the Conference League, man.
Glimt is Norwegian.
Up Glint, up Bodo / Glimt. I don't know. Why is the slash? Whatever. I don't know.
I have no idea.
If somebody out there is Norwegian and you're a Glint supporter, let us know, please. I'm curious.
What's with all these teams coming out of the woodwork this year? Like, what happened over the last 2 years of COVID that we have Sheriff Tiraspol coming out of nowhere, hyphen FC or backslash FC. Like, what are we doing?
Well, the backslash FC comes from just expanding European conference play, just adding an extra league, just UEFA just being like, you know what, fuck it, let's do another one.
We didn't get the Super League, but we got the Conference League.
Speaking of new teams and clubs that just seem to come out of nowhere, Vitesse, the team that just beat Tottenham, their next game is against a team called Go Ahead Eagles.
Yeah, the Go Ahead Eagles, it's the Eredivisie, dude. That's the weird. I don't know why. I love that club. I don't know a single player on it, but I love their name. The Go Ahead Eagles. That shit is sick.
Could you imagine if they had just exclusively fans from New York? Go ahead,
Eagles.
Go ahead, Eagles.
All right, you guys want to hop into the preview for this weekend? Let's chat about some of the games going on here.
Let's do it.
All right, so always now being incorporated into our weekend picks, just as a reminder, after we chat about the game, old Josh is going to give his picks. So we're going to get our preview along with the lovely Rick's picks, and Mitchell and I will keep Josh very honest moving forward here to make sure that he doesn't lie to you about how good he is at betting.
50%? Are you serious?
First game on the docket in England is Chelsea and Villa.
I fucked up on this one. It is Arsenal Aston Villa. I do not know why I wrote Chelsea.
Oh, what the fuck, Josh? I wasn't even looking at a schedule, so I was just going off you having the notes right.
Chelsea plays Norwich. Not worth talking about.
I wondered why your pick was that. We'll get into it when you get there. But
Chelsea Villa draw?
Unreal. And then Arsenal Aston Villa is kind of an entertaining one. It's a Friday kickoff. Both the teams are kind of like all over the place. Arsenal starting out with 3 losses. They're unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League, but still kind of just like all over the place. The results they're even winning aren't good. A draw against Palace on Monday. And then Aston Villa has won like 2 out of their 5 last Premier League games and kind of not performing to where we thought they were going to be at the start of the season. This one's
it's Arsenal trying to keep form and Villa trying to get some form back. So it's 2 teams that probably can really use these 3 points for just like the good of their side. So yeah, that'll be a pretty interesting one, I think. And we kind of spoiled your pick, Josh, but what are the folks out here that looking to bet on this game?
Yeah, we're doing a draw money line plus 270 odds, so obviously a real valuable pick. I'm kind of taking draw just because I think both of the defenses are a little bit of a shambles, but they have the offensive attack to, they're going to put a few goals in. I expect it's going to be 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah, I was thinking a 1-1 as well. I could maybe see just form. I'm going to go against your pick, Josh. I'm going to say 2 on Arsenal. I think they're going to come away with the 3 points this weekend.
I also have to agree with Patrick on this one. I do.
Yeah, I think they're going to sneak it. I think they're going to sneak it. Villa don't look amazing at the back, and I think Arsenal have just enough to come away with the 3 points this weekend, especially off the back of some pretty decent results, at least going through the league.
My thing is that, Emi Martinez in goal going up against his former club, I feel like he's going to stick it to him and stand on his head.
Right. And that's why I think that your draw makes a lot of sense. And then also I love that he went to Villa and said it was an upgrade from Arsenal. I fucking love it. Love it. I love Martinez. But I think Arsenal are going to be – they just like have a little bit more quality, I think, and they're in a little bit better form. I think they're going to just edge it. Moving into the next one here, Josh, is this one right? Did you get this next game on the notes right?
All right, correct. Check.
So next one we're chatting about here is Brentford Leicester. This one is fun. I think this game is going to be sick.
It's too hard to predict.
I think it is. Brentford getting a couple of tough results over the last few weeks. I think they're going to be looking to bounce back. Obviously, Leicester finding their footing. One person from Leicester finding their footing at the beginning of the week here, but I don't know. This one is a toss up to me, and I think Brentford could end up pulling a draw out. I don't necessarily think they'll get the 3 points here. But I see a 2-2, 3-3 draw. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. And, it's in Brentford at the community stadium there. It's shown early that that's a great environment, tough to play in. Brentford don't lose many games. This is the thing, we're really starting to notice that they stay in games based on their electric offense, right? And, Thomas Frank has been a great manager so far in the Premier League in his, first 8 games. I think it's a fascinating managerial matchup with him and Brendan Rodgers. But Leicester's form, it's not impressive enough to just take them outright. The odds, Brentford is actually the favorite in this game to kind of show where Leicester are at so far this year. Where it's so close to call, I'm not even going to take an outright pick or even a spread. I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to score because I think this game is wide open. I think this has 2-2, 3-3 written all over it. And Jamie Vardy to score plus 160. I mean, that's insane value for the goals he's put in the past 5-6 years. I mean, any game for Vardy to score is a decent bet.
Yeah, for sure. I'm leaning towards high scoring draw here too. So I think that's about everything that needs to be said about that one there. Next up, we've got a bit of a London derby on our hands. We've got the bubble blowers versus the chicken that stands on top of a ball. We're talking West Ham and we're talking Tottenham. Lads, what do we think about this guy?
I'm taking West Ham.
They're just too solid. We have to start recognizing West Ham as not just overperforming. David Moyes has took this side from the West Ham they used to be to the West Ham they are now. They're just a good team now, man. And they're solid.
Yeah, he's transformed them.
Yeah. They're just a solid team, and they are a better team fundamentally than Tottenham. That's just a simple fact. Tottenham are the bigger club because they have a bigger stadium, more sales, whatever. West Ham are the better team right now. So I'm going to go West Ham money line, plus 145, great odds.
Yeah, especially at home too. Yeah, I think West Ham just edge it. I don't know. Tottenham are really tough to call lately. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one here.
Antonio didn't play tonight. Either that means he has fresh legs or that there's a lingering injury that we might not know about.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a problem for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be tough. That'd be tough for them. Yeah, I'm going to give it to West Ham. I think I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 West Ham this weekend.
I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham.
I think Tottenham get one.
If Tottenham get one, I feel like it has to come from Son. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, West Ham's defense has looked really, really strong. Mm-hmm. They're working well together, and I think they're going to be able to hold them off. I'm leaning to 2-0, but 2-1 I think is the more realistic scoreline in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Final game of the weekend. Man United versus Liverpool. Before we get into the preview, I would just like to ask Liverpool to take one for the team, please, and keep Ole's job.
You want my hot take, Pat?
Yes.
We're not going to do that. I think we're going
to.
That's
not a hot take. You're supposed to kill him. That's why I'm asking you to take one for the team.
I mean, I think this is, again, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record for the fourth week in a row, but this is another one of those games where, yes, Liverpool could go out and sit back and let in a couple of lazy goals and lose it or drop points. I don't necessarily think they're going to lose. I think outside of a win, it'll be a draw, if anything. But I think we go out and have a very similar score line to what we had this past weekend.
I do not think that you put
I think we put 4 by him. That's why it's the hot take. I think we come out and steamroll the fucking shit out of
at
United.
Old Trafford. You think you're going to put 4 by them at Old Trafford?
Yep.
We put 4 by them at Old
I'm saying
Trafford last
2-2.
spring, man. We put 4 by them at Old Trafford last spring. Salah capped it off with a nice little goal. It's not impossible.
I'm saying
not impossible.
2-2. I'm saying 2-2. This game just feels like a draw. If
Does
there's one
like
thing Ole can, if there's one thing Ole can generally do, it's get Man United up for big games like this. If there's one thing that he's good for, it's getting them up to play teams like Man City, teams like Liverpool, teams like Chelsea. It's just getting them to play all right in these big games. And
but
that's
he hasn't
why I'm
had to do it yet.
2-2.
He hasn't had to do it yet this year.
He's done it multiple times over the past couple of years. I'm saying 2-2.
The thing is, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have to do it, Mitch. Ronaldo's going to be the one in that dressing room doing it because he's been in that environment where, you know, Liverpool and Man United are right at the peak of their powers going at it. He's going to be the one giving the locker room speech, and he's the one I'm scared of. I'm not scared of what OGS is going to do in the locker room before the game. I'm scared of the speech Ronaldo's going to give. He's going to put the fear of God into those players in the locker room. And I do think he'll probably score a goal too. You know, Liverpool's not keeping many clean sheets right now. So ultimately, I kind of agree with Pat. This one has draw written all over it, especially at Old Trafford. We know Liverpool's record at Old Trafford in recent years. They were lucky to get a win there last season. And, you know, that's great. I already wrote about this game and I already took a pick, so I'm going to stick with it. My basis on the pick is that you don't bet against a player at the peak of their powers. And that player is Mo Salah. I'm not going to bet against him. I think he will score enough goals or make a big enough impact where Liverpool do not leave Old Trafford without 3 points. I have the Liverpool money line plus 130.
I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a close one to call, and, you know, I might be a little biased. Man United will have Marcus Rashford, obviously, in the team. He was involved in the Champions League game against Atalanta and scored a goal. He always seems to do well against Liverpool, so I think he'll give Trent some problems. It will be an open game. It won't be easy for Liverpool. I do think Liverpool's offense is very much better, and I think their defense is better too. It's tough, but I think Liverpool win.
2-2. I'm saying 2-2. Mitch is saying 4-0, and Josh is just saying, yeah, Liverpool are going to win.
Moving outside, we're going to go hop on a jet plane, grab your passports. We're going around the world for a few fixtures this weekend that we think you should check out. Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, so the first one's El Clasico, right? Biggest game.
This fixture, I'm sorry to cut you off, Josh, but this fixture feels like dog shit now. I literally like don't care about it.
El Clasico is not El Clasico anymore.
We had El Clasico 2 weeks ago. That was Liverpool Man City, right?
For real, man. It's just like this fixture does not have the same fucking I don't know. That doesn't make my fucking nuts tingle thinking about El Clasico anymore. It just doesn't.
Yeah, Real Madrid's gonna steamroll them, right? I mean, no chance Barcelona wins that game.
Yeah, I think Madrid are gonna beat. I don't think they're gonna kill them, but I think Madrid are definitely gonna win.
Here's a good thought-provoking question for you, gentlemen.
Yes.
No. When is the next time Barca wins in El Clasico?
I mean, they could win. It's not like they're down. Well, okay, they are kind of down bad, and they do kind of fucking suck. But I don't know, man. Like a couple of years, I don't think Madrid are just gonna. It's not like Madrid are this fucking like
powerhouse. No, by any
powerhouse team. Like both teams are like they're like Madrid are definitely the better side, and Karim Benzema is one of the best players in the world right now. So I definitely think that they have both the momentum and the talent, but. I don't know, maybe when Barca get a little bit less debt, they might start figuring it out again. But it just feels like a narrow Madrid win or a comfortable Madrid win, not really a drubbing, but like 2-0 Madrid. Barca maybe put up a fight, maybe don't. Maybe Koeman gets sacked after losing El Clasico. I don't know. This fixture has just like lost so much of its like watchability, and I don't know, to me it just doesn't feel like the same fixture as it did when it was like Messi and Ronaldo battling it out, you know.
I agree.
This feels more like the Tyne-Wear derby now. Like, it's just, I feel like so much, there's just not enough there to be like, this is the fixture in La Liga. Like, it's just, it feels dull. It feels like just another game. And obviously, I think we're all leaning toward one side versus the other. I know, Pat, you're a big Barca guy. Josh was a big Barca guy before they blocked him.
I'm not. Let's just get one thing.
You're
clear.
a big Messi guy.
I'm a
big
Messi
guy.
I'm a Messi fan.
You're a Messi
not
guy.
a Barca fan.
However, I feel like this sucks for soccer. I know we keep coming back to this, but like El Clasico is one of those matches for the last 15, 20 years that you just wait for. And obviously we would have a different opinion if we were living right outside of the Bernabeu or Camp Nou. Like that is a for sure a big reasoning to how we feel about this. But like, I don't know. There's just no buzz. It
just doesn't feel like the biggest fixture in the world anymore. It's as simple as that. It just doesn't have that feeling anymore. I mean, it's also feels kind of like a changing of the guard too. Like maybe in a couple of years when both of these clubs kind of like get back to where they were, it'll feel a little different. Yeah. But like as of right now, Barca is not the Barca of old, and Madrid are kind of starting to falter. Like, I don't know. We grew up watching this Messi and Ronaldo rivalry in El Clasico, and then like that's what we really knew El Clasico as, was Messi versus Ronaldo, Madrid versus Barca, Pep versus Mourinho. It had all of these like super enthralling storylines and like 22 of the best players on the fucking planet. And now it's fucking Martin Braithwaite might start for Barca this weekend. Like that's where the fixture is right now.
Memphis Depay versus Karim Benzema. Worldy of a matchup.
Yeah, so I have Real Madrid in this one, plus 150. Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Move over to Italy, my favorite league this season, even though they're disappointing in Europe. Roma Napoli is the first one. This one's a pretty intriguing matchup. I have over 3.5 goals in this, mainly because Victor Osimhen's just banging in goals for Napoli, and Roma kind of letting them in the back end. It just screams like it's going to be a goal fest.
Yeah, that's spot on. I've been liking Osimhen this year a lot. I liked him at Lille the previous year, so he's definitely a pretty good player. I'm a fan. I like him. So
and I have Inter Juve is another big one in Italy this weekend. I actually have the under 2.5 goals in this one, just because Juventus.
I think that's probably
narrow scorelines, man. Plus 110 too.
Yeah, that feels like the safest pick, honestly, here. And I don't see this game being any more than a 2-2 draw. If that, like, I could maybe see Juve sneaking another 1-0, especially just like with the form that both sides are in. But I think a 1-0 or a 1-1, but I don't think there's going to be 3 goals in this game.
No.
That's all the matches we had to cover this week, though, guys. Do we have anything else to add here at the end of the show?
I think the hot take that I maybe previewed before is a mid-season hot take. I don't think it's think it's an early season hot take. I'm gonna let it marinate a little bit here.
Sit on it. No, I don't have anything really else to add for this upcoming week. I think, it's a typical week after the UCL and UEL. Like, it's just there's some steaming matchups. Obviously, I am so excited to watch Liverpool United. I'm really, really excited to watch that Brentford Leicester game. And I'm excited to see Fiorentina, charge back up into the top 4.
I'm sick of you. I'm sick and tired of you.
They're playing Cagliari
games.
They're playing a bottom of the table side. They are kind of catching the red card bug the last few weeks. The boys in purple will turn it around. we're only 6 points out of the top 4. So, or no, 3 points. 3 points out of the top 4.
One more thing to note,
yes, 3
too,
points.
is MLS playoffs coming very, very soon.
Yes.
So there's going to be some coverage from the main stand on the MLS playoffs. Expect some potentially live coverage from Foxborough, from your boy, while the Revs are in the playoffs. So
You never know. You never
Stadium
know.
takeover, baby.
fuck yeah, let me get on the Jumbotron. I'm maybe get kicked out all at the same time because they're definitely not letting me on there.
Boys, when are we making main stand flags?
Ooh.
I need one.
It's
What are we
coming.
making and scarves?
That too.
Ooh,
Josh,
I think
Josh,
that's
Josh is
probably
horny
gonna
for
happen.
scarves.
Oh, I
Josh
am.
is always horny for scarves.
Give me some
All
Roman
right.
swipes for some scarves. Roman, no free ads, but hit us up.
We'll start planning the scarves and the flags. We'll keep this riffing going off episode here. I think it probably is about time for us to wrap this up. So if you made it this far into the episode, make sure you like, you share, you tell your friends to listen to it. If you're watching us on YouTube and you're not just listening to the podcast, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and then smash that motherfucking notification bell to know whenever we post videos, baby.
And Pat, I think we're on video, we're on YouTube right now. I think it's time for you to fulfill your promise for people who made it this far into the episode.
Give him a little smooch, Pat. Give everybody a little kiss. There you go.
Awesome, guys.
Amazing.
We will see you all next week. Thanks again for tuning into
Guys.
episode 10
Episode
10.
of
We
the
did
Main
it.
Stand
We did
podcast.
it. Technically 11 episodes, but it's episode 10.
Stupid fucking episode 0. Okay, boys, we'll see you next week.
I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Deuces.